Feeling bored on a raw vegan diet? I've got some ways to make it fun again. So we're gonna chat about that today in our live. Thank you so much for joining. And as always, don't forget to go grab the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. You only have 3 full days left to get it after today. So please go to the link in my bio or in the description box below and get yourself the 2025 Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. It only happens once a year. And every single year, it's brand new content. So you're getting my brand new sushi ebook, Nate's brand new cracker recipe ebook, Raw Chef Yin's brand new Chinese takeout course, the brand new ebook I wrote with Chef AJ called Make It Raw 4. You're getting all of it, plus all the brand new content from other people like Chris Kendall, Roar Sky, Miriam, Raw Food Feast. There's so many things in this bundle. You're getting 32 downloads valued at nearly $1,400 for $50. But you only have 3 full days after today left to get it. So please go grab the bundle. I don't mind if you leave the live to go get the bundle. Get it now before you forget, because after May 11th, usually people will email back and be like, oh, I missed the bundle. I meant to buy it, but I didn't get it. So please go get it now. You can always come back to the live after. Or if you're watching on YouTube, just pause the video, go to the description box below, click the link, buy the bundle, and then come back and watch. Make sure that you download it as well. You have until June 30th this year to download it. So here we go. We've got 10 ways that you can enjoy raw food again. So if you're feeling a little bored with your raw diet, which happens with any diet, it's not just a raw diet, it's not just a vegan diet, it's not just any diet. We can get bored of eating the same thing over and over and over again. And there are some ways that you can play around with stuff to make it a little bit more interesting. Of course, grab the bundle, because there are so many new and fresh, fun recipes in there that you have not tried yet. So please go grab that and start to incorporate more of those recipes. But one of the things that you can do is make a game with yourself when it comes to colors of food. Try to get as many colors in your salad as you can. Try to get rainbow ingredients. You could even have a meal focused on reds, and you've got like tomato, bell pepper, and any other red colored vegetables and fruits in your salad, and try to make the salad mostly red. And then maybe the next meal, try to make it mostly orange. Maybe one of them you try to make it all green, so there's all greens and green vegetables and sprouts and things in it. So play around with that. That can make things a little bit fun because it pushes you outside of your comfort zone, so you can start to enjoy more colors. And then also obviously making it as colorful as possible. So some meals could be rainbow ones, trying to do like purple cabbage and blueberries and kale and broccoli and yellow bell pepper, maybe some orange slices, red bell pepper, tomatoes, and make like a rainbow salad. And that can be really fun as well. So that would be tip number 1, to start playing with color. Play with color and get excited about it, because we're all kids at heart, so to speak. So if you can play around with that, that can be really fun. The second tip would be to explore more global cuisine. So some ethnic dishes or some different cultures, try some different ones. And if you buy the bundle, again, link is in my bio until May 11th, or it's in the description box below. We all came together and contributed to the group collaboration ebook. This is an ebook that you can only buy in the bundle. So you'll only be able to get it for the next 3 days. After that, you won't be able to buy it anymore. Every year we have a different theme, and this year's theme is world favorites. So I contributed my Scotch broth soup from Scotland, made raw, obviously. Nate has a fiesta salad in there. There's like a Russian salad. There's so many different recipes from all over the world in this ebook, Dutch recipes as well. So that ebook is really cool because you can explore new favorites. There's a pad thai in there too that we made that was really delicious. And Chef AJ has her all-American granola, which is a raw vegan granola recipe, and she made that for us when we went to Rancho La Puerta in Mexico. So we had snacks, and she made it raw, special for us. So that recipe is there as well. Strong Body Green Mind says, does it matter who gets the reward depending on the send owl link? Yes. So whoever you buy the bundle from will get the credit. So if you buy the bundle from me, I get the credit. If you buy the bundle from Rasheth Yin, she gets the credit. If you buy the bundle from Chris Kendall, he gets the credit. So that's kind of how it works. So it doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter who you buy it from. I want you to buy a bundle. So you can either get it from me, link in my bio, or in the description box below. If you're watching on YouTube, that will be my link. If you want to support me, if you enjoy these videos, if you want to see more lives, if you want to see more what I eat in a days, if you want to see more content, if you want me to continually be able to help in the DMs and answer fast like I do, you can support us by grabbing the bundle. That means a lot to us. You've got 3 days left to get that. Any Indian spiced ones there. So you're gonna really like next year's bundle because I have a very special ebook thinking of that. So I'm going to start working on that after this bundle. There is in Make It Raw Volume 4, which I wrote with Chef AJ, there is a spiced apple chat salad, which we really enjoy. That's in there. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any right now, but I'm sure there are others in the bundle as well that are Indian spiced. So definitely, you know, every year is different bundles. So every year we contribute something totally brand new. And yes, Indian next year is going to be kind of my theme. So that's going to be really excited and so delicious. But right now, this year is Japanese themed for us. We have the sushi. So there's tons of different options there when it comes to world cuisine. There's the Japanese, again, the global favorites, world favorites ebook that we all contributed to. So there's a lot of different ones in there. Sounds good. Can't wait for next year already. I know, yeah, next year is going to be fun as well. So every year we do it, but every year it's absolutely brand new content. So if you want to get all the new content this year, grab the bundle because it's only $50, valued at almost $1,400. So after the bundle's over, if you were to buy everything separately, it would cost you nearly $1,400. But we like to promote this as our launch of all our new stuff. And we like to give you a really good deal. So it's like 95% off retail. Only $50 gets you all of those downloads. So the third one would be to experiment with different preparation techniques. This one is really cool if you have like a mandolin slicer with different blades, like the wavy blade, or you could julienne slice, you could spiralize your cucumber. Tastes a lot different than cubed cucumber. And you know, different shapes of vegetables can taste different for some reason. It's really interesting. I personally really love spiralized cucumber. I still like the cubed cucumber, but I love spiralized cucumber. It has like a totally different vibe. It's almost like eating a different vegetable. So play around with different preparation techniques. Mincing, julienne, matchstick, all of those can be really fun. You can get different tools to do that, or you can do it by hand. Spiralizing you can't really do by hand, but you can do like mincing, julienne, matchstick, that kind of thing. Natasha's asking, can you buy the sushi book separately? Not right now. Right now, the best place to get it is in the bundle. This is like the best place because you get the sushi book, my brand new Make It Raw 4 that I wrote with Chef AJ, Nate's brand new crackers and spreads ebook, and then all the other content from other people as well. You're getting all of them in one package for $50. After the bundle on May 12th, the ebook will be in my ebook store. It'll retail for $40 and then you can get the 40% off. But it's still a better deal to get the bundle because you get so much other content in there. So it's much more worth it. Strong Body Green Mind says, wishing Chef AJ speedy, even being a long time whole food plant-based isn't helping. A speedy recovery, I believe. We believe that what she's been doing has supported her body through it. And I think that's something that it's a great point to talk about as well, is we think that if we're doing everything right, we're never going to get sick or we're never going to age or whatever that is. And we're going to heal everything. That's one thing that is kind of like it sets people up for disappointment sometimes because they could be doing everything right and still have issues. But that doesn't mean that whole food plant-based isn't working. It might mean, and most likely it means that it hasn't made her worse. she may have been way worse off. She might not even be here if she wasn't whole food plant-based. So we don't, and we'll never know. We can't ever know these things. What could have happened had she not been so diligent with her diet and other things like that. So I believe personally that she has supported herself through this to the best of her ability, and that has helped her get to this point, as opposed to still doing whatever she would have been doing in the past and possibly getting sick earlier, having a harder time with it, not being able to go through treatment, because you're going to get sick in that kind of treatment. So perhaps that diet has supported her. So I believe that she has really supported herself through it. And it doesn't mean that it's not helping. It means that it's probably keeping her as healthy as possible right now. And it's much better than the other things that she could be eating. So those are my thoughts on it. But she's an amazing, beautiful friend, and I love her, and I definitely support her in whatever she chooses for her healing. She's amazing. Watermelon Lime says, I thought it was remarkable when she said she worked on her grief and got better. Yes, and that's another thing too. It's like the diet only goes so far. Diet is very important, but it's only one aspect of so many things with our life. Like sleep is almost more important than diet, in my opinion. Exercise is super important. Stress management, dealing with our grief, dealing with our emotions, finding our passion, having a support circle, all of these things come into play. Having a really positive mindset, that is amazing as well. So diet only goes so far. We have to also work on the other things too. Yes, she mentioned that as well. She's suppressed a lot of emotions. Yeah, so definitely it's such a whole body kind of a thing. And I believe that she is doing the best that she can in her situation. So so Steve Jobs lived with it for 18 years. And he wasn't raw for very long. So some people say like, oh, well, he died of cancer when he was raw. But that's the thing too. It's like people put raw and vegan on this pedestal of like, if you're raw or vegan, you're never going to age, you're never going to have any issues, you're never going to get sick, you're never going to die, you're never going to get a wrinkle or whatever it is. Your body's never going to change, you're never going to have hormone shifts. It's like super unrealistic for people to put vegans and raw vegans on this pedestal, because we're all human and we're just doing the best that we believe is good for our bodies. And our bodies are going to go through whatever they're going to go through. We've got, again, environmental stress. And if our sleep is off or our exercise is off or whatever's out of place or out of balance in our life, we might notice that in our body, especially if you're really stressed and you're not eating enough, you're not getting enough nutrition. So even the diet, even though you're eating super clean, sometimes not eating enough is another reason as well. So there's so many aspects to that. But yeah, so next up, after the experimenting with different shapes for your food, make some meals different. Like, for example, if you're always making a salad, try something different, like a dip with chopped veggies around. Make like a veggie dip tray. That's really fun as a meal. Or you could do other things that aren't a salad, like sushi. Grab the bundle, link in my bio or in the description box below. Make some sushi. Or spiralize the cucumber, makes it like a pasta dish. We have the spicy peanut noodle recipe. That's Chef AJ's recipe that I made raw in the Make It Raw 4 ebook. That one is so good. So there's that one. There's also a ginger, I think it's a ginger chili. I can't remember the name of it. Ginger chili noodles in the sushi ebook. In Make It Raw 4, there's also a cheesy tomato noodle dish. So if you're feeling noodly, you can make one of those. You can make burgers in Make It Raw 4, that's in the bundle, link in my bio or in the description box below. There's the Korean barbecue spiced burgers. These burgers we made when Raw Chef Yin came to visit us from Malaysia. So we made the Korean spiced barbecue burgers and they're so good. Sky Conway, who's also in the bundle, she made those and she was like, it was the most unbelievable experience. So that recipe is in Make It Raw 4. You can make burgers, you can make wraps. The wrap book isn't in the bundle, but you could get the wrap book separately, make wraps. You could make lettuce wraps. You can make raw soups, raw stews, raw curries. raw chili. There's so many things that aren't just a salad. So explore some of these different ways to make meals to make it more enjoyable if you're getting bored of salads, for example. This boat is full says, I have the worst menopausal symptoms and I eat super clean and raw. And that is frustrating, yes. But remember, you are supporting your body the best that you can. And if you weren't eating raw and vegan, where would you be, right? That's a question that I always ask myself. It's like, where would I be if I wasn't eating raw? Would I feel worse? Would my symptoms be even worse? But yeah, and also work on other things too. I know menopause is a big thing, and I'm in perimenopause right now. I don't notice a huge amount of symptoms except my periods are getting closer together. But there are herbs that you can take as well. I'm sure you've explored that. Your sleep is super important. Weightlifting is super important. But yeah, the sleep is so important for balancing out the hormones. I personally right now, for support through perimenopause, I try almost every day. It's not every day, but I should do it every day, is take some maca, because you can get raw vegan maca powder, which is basically just the maca root ground into a powder, dried, and I'll add that to smoothies, and that is very supportive for hormone health. So there's that, and then making sure you get enough vitamin D, enough iron, all these things are really important too. But it is frustrating. It is frustrating when we feel like we're doing everything right and we still have symptoms. I always find solace in thinking it would probably be worse if I wasn't raw. Watermelon Lime says, well, people sometimes think I'm a child and I'm 32. So there's that with good aging. Yeah, it's a bonus. I mean, some people do age faster depending on their lifestyle. So if you have a fairly stress-free lifestyle, you're getting good sleep, you're eating raw or high raw, then you're probably doing pretty good. Strong Body Green Mind says, does Nate have dips as well to go with the crackers? Yes, he does. In the bundle, get the bundle, link in my bio or in the description box below. Nate's new cracker ebook called Crack Spread Repeat has dips in it. I personally am a huge fan of the chorizo spread, and I really like the pea guacamole a lot. And one of my favorites is, it's like a veg salad. It's like an egg salad, tuna salad kind of thing with chickpeas and coconut. It is so good. I really love that one. So definitely highly recommend getting it, even just for those recipes. They're so great. And the crackers are really easy to make. Guess I'm going to have to ask him. Yeah, you can even see him make the everything bagel crackers and the pea guacamole on his Instagram. So if you go to his Instagram and swipe through some of the lives, he makes those live, so you can watch him do that too. Strong Body Green Mind says, I was actually looking for your raw wraps recipe. I can't remember which bundle I got it in. It's been in a few different bundles. It was in the Black Friday 2024 plant-based bundle, and then it was also in the 2023 raw vegan bundle, so 2 years ago, because it's actually 2 years old now. May is its 2-year anniversary, so yes, it was in those two past bundles, so I would definitely look and see if you have it. Otherwise, you can get it separately in my ebook store. Great ideas. Thanks, Lissa. You're welcome. Wow, I have a punching bag for my perimenopause issues. It's different for everybody, totally. Like if you're experiencing a lot of emotions and stuff, sometimes that physical activity can really help burn cortisol. And our adrenal glands take over. When our estrogen gets lower, our adrenal glands take over. So if you're really stressed out, our adrenal glands are going to be even more stressed. So super important. That's why sleep, stress relief, and all that is really important too. Number 5. Play with spices. Get into different flavors. This can really enhance your meals. And what I experienced early on, I'm a huge spice fan, and that's another reason why that's going to be a subject for next year's bundle book. It's going to be about spices and combining spices and recipes with different spices. So it'll definitely be very Indian, Middle Eastern, Mediterranean, because of, Silk Road, basically. So gonna play around with some spices, but that's another thing to do if you are feeling, oh, you can see the little kitty up here in the window. Or the mirror. So yeah, play around with spices. Play with different combinations. Like for example, I would always make my French dressing, which is 5 dates, 2 cloves of garlic, the juice of a lemon, a little apple cider vinegar, some smoked paprika, and chipotle powder with water. Blend that up, and that's like my base dressing. I'll add chia to it now for omega-3, but that's like the base dressing. But instead of smoked paprika and chipotle powder, you could swap the spices. You could do curry, turmeric, and maybe fenugreek leaves and give it kind of an Indian vibe. Or you could take those away. You could do cumin, oregano, and chili powder, make it kind of a Mexican vibe. You could do oregano, basil, and extra garlic and lemon and make it kind of Italian. So there's different ways that you can play around with the same recipe by swapping out the spices. And always go slow with spices because you don't know how much to use sometimes. Just start slow because you can always add more if you feel it needs more. It's really hard to take it away if you have too much. So yes, all health factors tax the liver. That's by here. Yes, strong body, green mind. Yes, our liver is very active, so we need to support it. That's why I'm a huge fan of cruciferous veggies and fiber variety, because those both help to support the liver as well. Hydration too is really important. It's been 2 years already for the wrap, since I got the plant-based bundle. Watermelon Live says, I love spices, especially the sweet ones. Like in wintertime, I like to add allspice to smoothies: anise, cardamom, cinnamon, ginger. Yeah, and those are really great warming spices. That's another reason why we as humans like to use those in the winter months, because they're very warming to the body. They stimulate circulation, so they're very helpful there. And so do some of the other herbs that we use around like Thanksgiving, Christmas time, like sage, rosemary. Rosemary is very promotion. Stepping over my words. It's very good for the circulatory system, rosemary and stuff like that. So those are really great to add as well. So spices really help. Number 6, host a raw potluck with friends and family and get everybody to bring their own dishes. This can make it really fun, and encourage them to go online, or if you have a recipe that you would like them to make and see how they make it, that would be fun too. But having a potluck with a lot of people can make it fun because you get to try things from others. Another reason why it's so awesome to buy the bundle, because there's so many other different flavors from other people. Like recipes from Sky are going to taste different than recipes from me. My recipes are going to taste different than Yin or Rennie or Miriam. So everybody kind of has their own like flavor profile. They like to use specific things, and it tastes like one of their recipes. So it's really cool to explore other recipes and see if there's something that you like. You'll never know unless you try. So go grab the bundle and try some new recipes. I couldn't imagine not using spices and herbs. I know, right? You could do like ranchy stuff with parsley and dill and onion. Oh yeah, herbs and spices are amazing. So explore different combinations because that can make it fun too. Number 7 would be to invest in a new kitchen tool if you are able to and if you need to. So investing, like if you don't have a dehydrator, get a dehydrator. If you don't have a spiralizer, get a spiralizer. If you don't have a mandolin slicer, maybe get a mandolin slicer. If you are going to use it, of course, you don't want to get it and not use it. But if you're going to use it, these can be really fun ways of exploring, again, different textures, different ways to prepare raw food. Those can be really helpful too. And on that note, playing with the freeze-thaw technique that Chris Kendall shared originally with all of us, we like to call it Kendallizing your veggies, would be freezing them and thawing them. And this creates a different texture, which can bring a different vibe to your raw meal, especially things like soups or curries or stews or something like that. You're gonna have that softer texture of vegetables, which can feel more like an al dente steamed or cooked, but it's still raw. So you can Kendallize your veggies and enjoy those in a meal as well. That can make it fun. Then we have number 8, try new fruits and veggies or start to buy some things that you really haven't bought in a while. Like maybe you haven't purchased endive for a long time, or asparagus, or what have you. And also play around with seasonal things, because seasonal things only come sometimes for 1 or 2 months, sometimes 3 or 4, but they're only here for a short time. So enjoy those and play around and flow with the seasons, but also grab things that you really haven't purchased. Like if you haven't bought bok choy in a while, buy some bok choy, make something with bok choy in it, like a pad thai. Or there is a soup in my sushi ebook in the bundle that has bok choy in it, as well as the barbecue lion's mane skewers. So if you've never tried lion's mane and you have that available to you, try that. So trying new produce items can help you to enjoy different meals. Birth of a New Earth says, how much did your freeze dryer cost? So a freeze dryer is very different than a dehydrator. So a dehydrator dries the food, and the food is still kind of pliable for the most part. Freeze dryer gets rid of pretty much all the water, so it's like space food. It's like foam, and it's super light. And so you can't make specific things in one or the other. Like you can't make the wraps in a freeze dryer. It would be impossible. They wouldn't roll at all. They'd be like rock hard, really light space food, basically. They wouldn't roll at all, but in the dehydrator they do. So it really depends on what you're making. But for the freeze dryer, we bought the large, and this was before we knew that they were coming out with an extra large. Otherwise we would have bought the extra large. But with the, I don't remember exactly, we bought it in 2021 or 2022. So it's probably about 3 years old now. And I want to say it was around $3,800, and that was with the pump and the extra trays and all of that. So that, I think that's how much we spent on it, but it's amazing. This boat is full says, I Kendallize my cauliflower. I know, I love that term. And that term was coined by Dr. Rick Dina, who is also in the bundle. And we were just sharing with each other about how awesome Chris is for coming up with that. And he's like, we should call it Kendallizing the veggies. So we're trying to coin that. So if you want to use that term, go for it. And tag Chris, because he's the one who kind of came up with that in a way. Watermelon Lime says, bought guavas for the first time recently, but apparently they need to ripen, so I couldn't try them yet. Guavas are great in smoothies. They smell amazing when they ripen. I love the smell of those. So that's great. Yeah, trying new things is going to help make things a little bit more fun. Number 9 would be to create a raw journal. So get a notepad or a binder or whatever, and start to put in some of your favorite recipes, some that you've tried and you really enjoy. Because when we get stuck in a rut, we sometimes forget some of the awesome stuff that we've eaten in the past. And Nate and I do this a lot. We will get into a rut. We're having like a tahini dill salad for lunch. We're having like a tomato salad for dinner. We're having a tomato salad for lunch, and we're having like a fruit smoothie or a cacao banana smoothie for breakfast. And we do the same thing over and over again because it's easy. We have the recipes memorized and it's just fast. But then when we make something from one of our books or a recipe from someone else that we've made before, we're like, why don't we make this more often? This is so good, Or taking that time to make the sushi, which really doesn't take that much time. It's more just like prep, making sure you have the ingredients on hand. But having a journal of all of your favorite recipes. So when you are feeling bored, you can go to that journal, flip through and be like, oh yeah, I love all of these recipes. And then you feel like, oh, well, there's a lot of fun things to make. You just kind of forget about certain things when you fall into a rut. So that's a really great thing. And I know a lot of people who buy the bundle. Again, you have 3 days left to get the bundle. The link is in my bio or in the description box below. But a lot of people, they'll open up an ebook and they'll find a recipe they really like. They'll print out that one page and they put that page in a binder. So whatever recipes that they find that they absolutely love, they just print it out on their own computer and just put it in a binder so they have easy access to some of their absolute favorite recipes. So that's a bonus tip as well. I love Dr. Rick. I'm taking the Mastering Raw Food course from the Dinas. That's awesome. Nate and I did that in 2023 and we highly recommend, and Dr. Karen as well. They're amazing, very science-based and very practical and balanced. I really love how they teach raw food and they go into great detail. So I'm glad you're in that course. And good luck on your final project. I loved doing the final project. If anyone's interested, send me a direct message and I can send you a link to Dr. Rick and Karen Dina's course. We'll probably do their year-long container course, maybe. Strong Body, Green Mind. Yes, I would highly recommend doing their year-long. It is an investment, but it is worth it. Weekly calls. I think they take 1 week out of the month off. They're actually coming to visit us in July, so we were very lucky that they want to come and hang out with us, so that's going to be fun. But I do heavily recommend their course. Again, if you want the website, send me a DM. Otherwise, it's rawfoodeducation.com. You can tell them I sent you as well. Birth of a New Earth says, thank you so much. Yeah, I know the difference between a dehydrator and freeze dryer. Some people don't. So I was just sharing that for anyone else who was listening, because that's a common question I get asked if they're interchangeable. So I was just sharing it to share with others. But thank you so much for answering. Appreciate it. You're very welcome. And yeah, they are way more expensive than a dehydrator because they're a totally different process. It's sublimation, so you need the pump. It's done under vacuum. It freezes the food below 50 degrees, so it gets really cold, and then the sublimation is where it goes from ice, solid, to vapor. It skips the liquid step, and that's called sublimation. So it's a totally different process, and that's why it's more expensive. But yeah, Watermelon Lime says, great. Nice, great tip. I bought a notebook from Jack. Oh, that's cool. That says my raw vegan recipes. That's awesome. Yeah, miss Jack. I haven't seen him posting in a while, but I'll have to go look and see his stuff. And number 10 would be mindful food prep and decorating. So if you're getting bored with some of your meals, try changing the presentation of it and decorating. Get fancy with it if you have time, of course, and you have the patience. You don't always have to do this, but I find it so relaxing and beautiful to do this as self-care, like decorating the sushi, putting the avocado on top with a little ginger and some parsley and a little wasabi, or drizzling the dressing. Like, I love to eat fancy food, so I want to eat fancy food, so I take the time to do that, and that can actually bring up the level of fun and enjoyment of your meals. Even the way you present the veggies in the bowl, you could do lines of different colors, you could do like sections of different colors. You can always mix it all together and maybe drizzle the dressing on top. There's so many different ways to play with the presentation, but then also with the food prep, making it fun, getting your favorite podcast on, your favorite music, get dancing in the kitchen, and really up that vibe so you really enjoy the process of making the raw food. This boat is full says, I can't wait to buy a freeze dryer. The freeze dryers are so cool. We make it kind of tastes like, or it's got the texture of like Cheetos or like cheese puffs. Like, they're like airy and light, and they're so good. We like to do cauliflower, bell pepper, and onion, and we mix it with a buffalo sauce. So we have like buffalo Cheez-Its kind of, or Cheesies. And we also have like a ranch one that we like to do, a masala Indian version that we like to do. And those are all really great. It's a great way to get your cauliflower in, because a whole head of cauliflower is very easy to eat when it's freeze dried, and you're getting a huge amount of choline, which is really beneficial for the brain and for, lipid transport and neurotransmitters and all that stuff. Choline is really important, and some people find it a little harder to get on a raw diet, especially if they're not focusing on including a wide variety of vegetables, sprouts, and cauliflower or cruciferous. Those are really high in choline. If they're focusing too much on the fruit, over time you can get deficient in choline, and that can cause neurological issues, cognitive decline, and things like that. And we want to avoid that, so make sure that you get those greens in your diet as well. Chris also did it probably where he got the inspiration. I'm not sure what that was referring to, but yes, awesome. Of course, I understood. You're so nice. Great work. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you for being here and asking questions. Healthy by Wendy says, thanks for saying that about the choline. Wendy, I would like to totally give you props for sharing about the choline in your Feminine Harmony book. So she has her book, Feminine Harmony, in the bundle. So go grab it from the link in my bio or from her bio if you want. Wendy, thank you for sharing about that, because I feel like in the raw community, some people are kind of like, they're like, oh, don't worry about nutrients, you know? And so they're like, as long as you eat this, you're fine. But specific stuff, sometimes people aren't getting it. And over time, they might feel great right now, but over time, these deficiencies creep up on us. And you can experience them, especially like Chris Kendall shared that, you know, his B12 was continually going down. So he started supplementing to move it back up. My B12 has been pretty stable, so I'm not too worried about that. But that's why testing is so important. Like, we want to know what's going on in here. We can't just assume that everything's okay, because we could be borderline a deficiency and not know it yet. Right? We might still feel fine when we're borderline. And then when it gets too bad, that's when issues arise. So, of course I read it. Wendy's like, you read it? Yes, I did. I didn't read all of it, but I read a lot of it. With the limited time that I have, I tried to read a lot of everybody's thing. But when I saw that about the choline, it just made my heart so happy to read, because it is a really super important one. And it is harder to get on a raw diet. And that's why I think that some raw vegans and vegans crave eggs, because eggs are very high in choline. So they tend to be like, oh, I need some eggs. But you don't. You actually just need to eat more choline-rich foods, which a lot of people don't eat enough of. And a whole head of cauliflower has almost 300 milligrams of choline in it. And it's very easy to eat a whole head of cauliflower when you're making sushi, because a whole head of cauliflower wet chopped makes about 2 sushi rolls, which is super easy to eat. So there you have like a majority of your choline for the day just in that one ingredient. And adding more sprouts, more greens and things like that on top of the wide variety of fruits that you're eating can really help to cover those nutritional gaps. So thank you, Wendy, for sharing that. That was really super important. And I'm so glad that you added that in there. Greener Side of the Fence says, amazing content in the bundle. I was tempted to keep reading, didn't print the most interesting. That's okay. Recipes, or I would have printed a library. Right? I know there's so many good recipes. It would be hard not to print them all. I know just in my sushi ebook alone, there's 160 recipes. So that's a lot of pages. But there are people who will print certain ones and enjoy those. But yes, there is a lot. Strong Body Green Mind says, yep. When it gets in the red for long, it's challenging to get those levels back up. Does broccoli have a sufficient quantity? Yes, broccoli does have some. Cauliflower is going to be one of the highest sources. Lentil sprouts and chickpea sprouts are also quite high in choline as well. And then, you know, everything else has some choline in it, but they're in smaller amounts. Like if you think of a whole head of cauliflower having about 300 milligrams, one banana has only 11. So you know, even 10 bananas is only 100. So it's not about having like one or the other. It's about combining everything and having a lot of high sources, and then the other sources compensate for, you know, getting the rest that you need for the day. Women need 425 milligrams a day. Men need 550 milligrams a day. And you need more if you are breastfeeding, pregnant, or doing high intensity workouts. If you're doing high intensity workouts, you're going to need to get more choline. But if you're doing high intensity workouts, you're probably eating more as well. So you're naturally going to get more from eating more volume too. So that's what's so great about these bundles. You get a digital library. That's a great point too, Watermelon Lime. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, the bundle is so cool. And I love the raw bundle because every single year, all of us make absolutely brand new things for it. So each year is different. Each year has new stuff. So if you want to get all the new stuff from all of us, valued at nearly $1,400. If you were to buy everything separately, it would cost you almost $1,400, but you only pay $50. You only have 3 days left to get it. So selenium, use Brazil nuts. Yes, that's another one too. Selenium is really hard to get in other things, but if you just grate like a Brazil nut on top of your salad, you're going to get enough selenium for the day. And selenium, it's very interesting too. A lot of raw vegans who experience hair loss, that can be a selenium deficiency. So most people are like, oh, who cares about the Brazil nut, you know, or whatever, you know, you're probably getting enough. It's really important to not just brush it off because people can get deficient. And it's really important to make sure that we cover our bases so that we can be healthy raw vegans and promote this lifestyle and live a healthy, happy life without just saying like, oh, I'm sure I'm getting it. You know, it's not wise to do that, and I feel it's irresponsible as an influencer to tell people to just, oh, don't worry about it, you know. There are certain things that I personally don't worry about. Like, I don't worry about getting enough protein, for example, because I eat enough calories and I eat enough variety. So those are two things that I make sure that I do, because if I eat enough and I eat enough variety, I naturally get enough protein. So there's some things that I'm not worried about necessarily, but I am aware I have to eat enough and I have to eat variety to get the protein. I have to eat the selenium or the Brazil nut to get the selenium. I have to eat more cauliflower to get the choline. So those are really important too. I don't get people who use a selenium supplement, just eat a Brazil nut, right? Do pumpkin seeds also contain selenium? They might in very trace amounts. Brazil nut is the way to get selenium. That is the way. It's going to give you, like, half of a Brazil nut can give you your whole day's amount of selenium. You don't want to overdo Brazil nuts either, because if you overeat selenium, you can get selenium toxicity. So just one a day or half a day is all you need for that. And I like to grate it on a salad or put half in a dressing or what have you. Like Nate and I will do one Brazil nut in a dressing, and that's enough for both of us. But yeah, other things have selenium, but in very, very small amounts. Nuts and seeds do too, but in very small amounts. Selenium in Brazil nuts is kind of like a phenomena. It's like, wow, for some reason, that specific nut has a huge amount of selenium. So I wish I liked the taste of a Brazil nut. If you don't like the taste of it, I would just cut it in half or whatever and throw it in a dressing that has a lot of flavor, like garlic and onion and spices and other things. You won't even notice that it's in there. Hopefully you don't. Strong Body Green Mind says, raw vegans and vegans especially have a responsibility to take care of themselves. So much misinformation out there. It's true, there is a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a lot of absolutes and guarantees that people share, like there is no nutrition in cooked food. That one irritates me because there is nutrition in cooked food. It's just different. Or like all cooked food is poisonous. That one bothers me too. Anytime people use an absolute, and it's really hard not to use absolutes, because it's just part of our language as humans. We tend to do that, to exaggerate or to convince or whatever. But when people are sharing absolutes, really dig into the research, because they're probably saying it to convince you of something or to sell their protocol or whatever. There are some absolutes that are true. For example, there is 0 fiber in animal products and oils. But when people say, like, there's no fiber in processed foods, if you read the label, there is sometimes just a small amount of fiber. So saying there's no fiber is incorrect. So we have to make sure that we speak when we share, so that people aren't scared, for one, and aren't confused. So it's really hard. It's challenging in this world. Watermelon Lime says, I know here are raw, but if you're plant-based, oats have quite a bit of selenium too. And you can get sprouted raw oats. There's a company called 1 Degree, and they sell them at Costco. You can get them on Amazon as well. It's a company called 1 Degree, and they sprout their oats, and then yes, they steamroll them, but we have a friend that called the company, and they said that they steamroll at 118 Fahrenheit, which is still considered raw. They don't put raw on the label because the general public doesn't understand raw necessarily, but when they see raw and oats or raw with baking, they immediately think that it could have bacteria in it. So they don't put raw on the label, but for raw vegans, they are raw. So you can get those oats and enjoy sprouted oats on a raw diet. So yeah, tofu, I believe, has a little in there as well. Like the enzyme theory, Chris goes into it in his book. Yeah, the enzyme theory, very interesting stuff. Chris Kendall has his brand new myth-busting ebook that's part of the bundle. He goes over 10 myths that people believe about a raw diet that aren't true. So if you want to read those, get the bundle. Link is in my bio or in the description box below. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for this live. We are going to be live in 1 hour from now on Chef AJ's YouTube channel. We're going to be making, drum roll, we're going to be making the okonomiyaki savory pancakes from the sushi ebook live on the show. So if you want to see how we make those, they're very, very easy to make. Come to that live at 11 a.m. PST on Chef AJ's YouTube channel, where we will be making the Japanese savory pancakes, okonomiyaki. They're so delicious. They're one of our favorites. So hope to see you there. And thank you for joining for this live. I love you all so much, as always. And fruit on!